Let me go on to the build that I always like end up going back to. But here's the ways that I statted. I maxed out vitality, dex, and agility. And I got 60 in intellect and 31 in endurance. And you might be saying, well, why not just like max one of them out? The thing is like I'm good with 30 stamina points. And I just throw it into one just because I have an extra. Because once you have the stamina consumption, which is probably it's a typo. Because like if you look at it, you actually have 45% reduction. Stamina consumption minus 45. But I have like 40 from my weapon. And I believe, but it just like with this amount of stamina, 369, and the stamina reduction, you could pretty much dodge, wait like a split second, and it instantly refills your stamina. It seems to be like when I max stamina to like 600. It was like you dodge and it instantly fills up. So it looks like there's like a time. Like the higher your stamina is, the quicker it like starts to recharge. And because I have the minus 40 plus the minus 5% stamina consumption, your dodge is your main thing that you want stamina. Because like the attacks aren't a huge deal, especially with rapier. It's the dodging. So you want to get your dodge to like a set amount, which like I feel like 30 to 40 is kind of like the sweet spot if you have the 40 stam reduction, to where like you could like not necessarily not run out of stamina, but you have enough stamina to like do stuff, and then if you wait like a split second, you can instantly gain back your stamina. The other thing is like, I don't know, I tested a few of like the stat numbers, but I feel like no matter what I did, intellect is like really, I just don't like putting points into intellect, but I have to get the 80% status effect resist. For me, there's certain bosses in the dungeons, like the level 150 dungeons, like there's the wolf boss where like he just fires all over the ground. You really need like 80% stam. There's a troll boss where like they hit you and you gain like fatigue. Once you get fatigue, you just can't regain stamina. Like they have this huge, like their auto attack just like gives you fatigue, and so you're fighting off like 3 trolls, you're getting fatigue. I tried like 70, 60, but the thing with status effectors is I feel like it's not even a percent. It feels like they have inflict status, and once your resist is higher than their inflict, it's just so hard for them to like put something on you. Like the end game enemies that like do death to you, the average mob, the death mobs, they can't even like inflict status on you unless they do like a heavy attack. Like if you ever like watch them and how much like status effect, if you have like 80%, they can't even like get any on you unless they heavy attack, which doesn't make sense, because like if you have 80% resistance, then like even their auto attack should at least put something on you. But it seems like, and like the reverse is true too, because like if you go to like your weapons, the build that I had where I had like 90% status infliction, it seems like when I had 50, it felt like it barely did anything. And then once I got up to like 80 and 90, like in a health is like bar, like a boss's health bar, You could probably get them like twice with like a status effect. But like, here's the weapon. The Mithril Blade. Yeah, I was testing this and I did get up to like 90. And then you actually have to get like SP consumption. But then like you start to fall in these problems to where like, alright, well you need damage reduction, damage taken reduction, and you need status effect resistance. So you need to get 30 damage reduction and you need 40% stamina. You just fall in the situation where like, all right, how do you squeeze stuff in there? Because like I can't squeeze in stamina, reduce stamina consumption. I can't squeeze in increased damage to status effect affected enemies. I can't squeeze in sword skills. Like on every weapon I have, they always, like every weapon that I use, they always have damage reduction and stamina consumption and status effect resist. And then other than that, like the third slot I fill in with like, if it's like sword skill build, it's like sword skill, and if it's like attack speed, it's normal attack damage. But other than that, like it's so hard to squeeze in. And I wish like legendaries could have like more, I guess you could say more mod slots. But let me get into the build before I ramble more. So the Proto Elucidator, I think this is actually the pre-order weapon, but this has carried me throughout like most of the game. It feels like 1% life still. It's got to be pretty low because the early game you do not want to use this. I actually, like, when I first started the game, I was using the Elven Geist Blade because like base wise this did have more like attack on it at low level, so it did, because of that it had more life still. But when you reach end game and you're rocking like 60% attack speed, there's a huge difference. Like 60% attack speed on this weapon is completely different than 60% attack speed on the rapier and dagger. Like if you go from left to right, so these are kind of like your main. Here's like auto attack number 1, 2, 3. Worst auto attack, and then it goes to worst auto attack. But you have the opposite where it's just like best sword skills, best sword skills, best sword skill damage, and then it falls off to like, other than the daggers, like one best 5 dagger move. But even then you have to like point blank it, and it misses a lot too because they move so fast. But that's the way I kind of figured out the game, is just like normal attack, and then you go over here, it's the opposite. You want hero's attire, you pretty much have to wear the cloak and the boots, because otherwise they don't give you the bonuses. But the main bonus that I usually want is, well, ideally if you're like 70 to like 200, you always want to wear this for the weapon or the XP, because you have weapon XP and XP, but you also get like, you get like the minus 5% damage reduction, so you already have the 30, so you have 30%, 35% damage reduction, 10% increased healing, which helps with the lifesteal. So whatever, like let's say it is 1%, now you're getting like 1.1%. I tested those barriers, 10% for barriers. I don't understand how you would ever have like both unless they're counting like the heal. So even your heal gets like 10% bigger like health potion. This, I think it's 10% reduced stamina, 10% SP, and support. It just has so many stats on it. And the Nightsteel Gauntlets, because you have lifesteal on the sword, you get 20% attack speed for free every time you auto attack. And that's, it doesn't have a negative. It doesn't have like barriers where it's just like, oh well, you gotta wait. A lot of these weapons are like, Oh, you have a cooldown, and there's like a red debuff on the top left. For the brooch, you want the orange stone, which is the 20% attack speed. The redstone, you want the barrier. I would put the barrier up here, but it just seems so small. Like 15% of 600. It doesn't feel like that much. Even if it's 30% is like 200. It doesn't feel like a lot. But it's like a buffer. It's like a buffer in between your lifesteal. The same with the sword skills, the brownstone. It just like increasing your sword skill damage gives you a burst amount of healing. Your lifesteal works on like your auto attacks and the sword skill damage. So it's not like the barrier where it's like you have to use a sword skill, and it's all like, or like some of them are like you have to auto attack to get them. There's one where you get a barrier based on your final auto attack, which is like, okay, well, it's just like it works on everything. Life still works on everything. It doesn't have like a gimmick. All the other stones, I don't know why you would ever use these, because like, hey, this in the main slot, okay, but like 60 more HP isn't a huge deal. Or you use the lower version, the 20%. It's not like I didn't even waste time upgrading some of these. This is trash. The purple stone is kind of trash. I guess you would like charge in and like, I don't know. I could test it, but I don't see it being this. I hate doing the slashes. They just like interrupt combat and everyone repositions while you're like doing it. This might be okay if I maxed it and I got the dodge invincibility and sprint speed and stamina. I don't even know like the stamina recovery. Like with what I got right now, this might like tip it to like a little bit better. But I still feel like the barrier and the sword skill damage is way better for the lifesteal and the survival. And this is only if you're doing like the status builds. You would have to put it in the main slot and you get the 20%. But that's how you get the gloves 20%. You get this for 20%, and then you have the purple mod on your weapon for 50%, so you get 90%. Now you see, I didn't even waste my time getting the white stone because it's all like, it's more like knockdown, and then you do more damage. But maces, oh man, I feel like maybe they built the maces around that if you do have the white stone and you get the bonus damage. But even then, I'm just like, I don't know, knockdown doesn't really work on bosses, so then you're just like wearing weapons for trash, which I don't see the point of. Like I said, I always come back to this build, and it's just because like this armor has 50 armor, 50 defense, and it's hard to get like go to anything else because you instantly drop like 20 defense. Like you could go this, but you'd have to like put 60 int and just to get 20 defense to equal out to this. There's also, when I did level up to 200, and with that I did have weapons that had like, I think 30% experience. I actually had them on this sword, so where I took off normal attack and I had XP by 30%. But it's to the point where like you end up farming for like 4 hours to get like the purple roll that you want, and you're like, oh well, I don't want to do this anymore. Because like every time I test a weapon, you have to like get all the purple stats on them, and it's pretty annoying. Like yeah, I'm starting to collect them, but man, I do not want to like get purple random rolls on like these weapons that are like, these other builds aren't even that good. Like I could max out the dress sword. I could like would I add on here? Sword skill damage. Actually, I think I would actually, if I wanted higher barrier, sword skill, but if I wanted SP, like you just can't fit everything you need in there, on there, because like, so like even if I had like infinite sword skill, like spam, you just wouldn't have the SP to do it. You would run out of SP and then you have to go back to auto attacking. And it's all like, alright, but it doesn't even do that much more damage. It doesn't do that much more damage, so it's like why even? Alright, let me go through tier list too for like partners. Agile, tier 1, S rank. Argo, S rank. Ori, I'd say A rank. She like carries you throughout the beginning of the game, but then you're stuck with these 3 for a while. Zaz is trash. I don't see why people ever use this dude. It's just like if you use this combo, you take like a quarter of your health. I don't know if that's scaled, but then you get a shit barrier, and then you get like increased attack, but then you could just bring Argo. And because the AI has problems with two-handers. Like, they slowly target. It's not consistent damage. Stina, I'd say, like, B tier. She just can't, detect. Like, the weakness barely lasts. And I was using her just for XP bonus. It felt like 20%, 25%. So then you have like the XP from your outfit 10%, you have 30 from the weapon, you have this bonus which is like 20%, and then you have the 50% from being on very hard. So that's how I leveled. I could let me show you the map I leveled up on. Elizabeth, like I don't get it. Like her buff is like, it's like 10% or 20%. It's pretty low. Like that's all it does. Like down rate increase, attack speed, sword skill, and it's like it says based on a number of attacks, but I don't know how it functions. Like there's like it takes like the base time. So about how I have no clue how it functions, because I could get off like 6 attacks before it spends one of the. But if it did, it's not that good of a buff. Asuna, I have no clue, like why I would need to like spam lightning to get SP, and then like she consumes SP when you use spirit shot, so it's like counterproductive to do a little bit more damage. Muso, I'd say he's S ranked. So Agile, Muso, and Argo are probably like the S rank characters. Everyone else kind of falls. Like, I'd say these two could be under A rank. Silica, I felt like she could have been S rank, but what they did was like, instead of making her ability 3 charges, it's just one big charge, and it takes forever to build up. And then she poops out like 3 crystals that give you half your HP and SP. And like, it on paper that sounds okay, but when you use her, it just takes so long. Like but it poops out 3 crystals, right? But it would have been way better if she pooped out a crystal per charge. So let's say she had 3 charges, and you poop out a crystal every time you need one. Whereas like, if you're waiting so long, it's just like a triple charge. It's just so long to use her ability. I mean, I guess like strategically, if we had the hardest boss ever, and you like preemptively poop these out in like a corner, and then you rebuilt them, but like there aren't any bosses that aren't like where I have to be that sweaty. Klein is weird. It's like when you drop down to like 20% health, he like makes you invincible, but it's 1 charge, and then that's it. So you're sitting on 1 charge forever. Just like, what if you never go down to 20% health? Or like, it only lasts for like 5 seconds. So it's all like, how you're protected. You have emergency survival, it's like, I mean, if it was on 3 charges, or like if you could control it, like if I'm like, oh fuck, he's doing his super omega move, time to like god mode, but it's not controlled. Kirito, he has the highest damage combo skill, unless like you count. If we're going on combo skills, I would say like Ori and Agile for AoE, just because like if you train like 30 enemies and AoE them, this does a shit ton of damage. Hers does a like shit ton of like attacks, so you can gain focus, and his does the highest amount of damage in the game, I think. But his striker ability, it's like for the most of the game, it's trash because like you only have 3 enemies. But if you train like 50 enemies in a dungeon and then do it, he like teleports to like, I don't know if he runs or teleports, I can't remember, but like it's like he runs to the enemy, does like 2k damage, runs to the next enemy, 2k, 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 2k. Like that is awesome, but like in this game, the only situation where I would see that happening is like the 150 dungeons. I'd say if I had to put best to worst, here's the best 3: Argo, Muso, Agile, and I'd say Zash is probably bottom tier. If bottom tier between, if I had to pick the worst, Zash, Asuna, and Klein. If I had to pick like the worst 3, just because like I don't know what this is, like I might have to do more testing, but it just, I don't know what they were thinking. The only benefit is like these 3 right here seem to have like higher stat points than other people. It's really weird. Like if you do the math about like HP, Stam, SP, for some reason they just have like more stat points into like Dex, or like it doesn't add up. It doesn't seem to add up to me. I don't get it. But the best sword skills for this build is just Phantom Thrust. I mean, all I do is like wait for everything to group up in Phantom Thrust, and it's more the fact that like while you teleport, you're kind of like disappear from the enemies, you're invincible. These ones, Star Pierce, I've been using this for a while. I don't know how to do the 4 combo. It doesn't seem to work all the time. Maybe someone could tell me or figure that out. Rumble Horn, it always knocks him down. For me, it always knocks him down. The Tri-Slash is like my other backup, but everything else is just kind of trash. It's like for Dagger and Rapier, the first like 4 or 5 skills are just complete garbage. Actually, the Dagger Barrage, well, we're not talking about daggers, but other than that, like, I don't know why other people are saying like Barrier build is top build, Frost is top damage. Like, I don't see it. I feel like once you get up to like 60% attack speed on like the Dagger and the Rapier, you out damage sword skills. Cause like let me go to the mission that I farmed for XP. The Leon's Trading Company. I just farmed this just because the bear is like so easy to kill. And you could take whoever, it doesn't really matter. But the bear does his like fire move and you could just beat the crap out of him while he's doing it. For me, bears since a demo have just been like the easiest enemy to fight. Other than that bee, the bee for the level 100 bee for the gold gates is like another good farm.
Let's do our own thing.
Sure.
I think by like once I was like near 150 and stuff, I was getting like 45k per per run, but you have to like run Stina, and then you have to pop her weekend right before you kill him. So like when he got down to like 20% health, I would pop Stina's ability weekend and finish him off for like 20% more XP.
Copy that. What's up? Feeling nervous?
The other thing you could do is like, if you want your stamina back, you could just like pop support. When you pop support, the cutscenes, like your stamina is recharging in the cutscene. That's when I was leveling up, I was running the half stamina for a while. But like for like a minute, all you do is kill this bear. You kill the bear, and it kills the wolves at the same time. So you get boss XP and you get double elite XP. And it only takes like 1 minute. And then you teleport back. If you want to, you could run down the stairs. It takes a little bit longer, but you get, I guess you can get like 200 XP and antidotes. This, I don't know why, but it seemed to be the quickest for me. It was like always like within a minute because it like scales with their level. The only other thing is, I guess I could show you like progression. Would be, I would, if I redid this and I was trying to like speed run, I would just put the game on normal or story mode. And you just plow through the main quest and you see what build you want. But this sword is pre-order sword, so you could start out the game with it, but you probably want to run something else. Once you get up to like, you beat the game at like probably like level 60 or 70, you farm the mission I was talking about, Leon's trading company. You get to whatever level you want, or you could fight the bee. It's the Elizabeth quest. You start fighting the bees. This thing is so easy XP because he's like, you put it on story mode and you kill him. He's like level 100 and you're fighting him at like level 60. And there's actually a mission where you have Elizabeth and you actually have an extra person to help you. And that like, so you have an NPC, you have your companion. Which one is it? I think it's the one before that. The mission before it, but like it's right next to the helping with trade. Yeah, you can, one of these Elizabeth missions, you could just teleport and fight the bee over and over, and it's like you're not farming it for XP, you're farming it for the purples. But because the bee is like level 100, you're getting so much weight. And you're like, well, why don't you do it on very hard? Well, if you do it on very hard, it takes like 4 times as long to do. Whereas like you kill the bee in like under 30 seconds. You get purple weapons. You get like XP difference of like 70 to 100. And it's just like you use up all your gold gate crystals, and then you either A, go back to farming gold gate crystals, which is another farm spot, to later on when you get to the second floor you farm buffalo to get the golden gate crystals. And that's when once you farm those for like your purple weapons, you get your perfect weapon. You'll probably be like level 100. Once you're level 100, you can start doing the crystal missions. And then you do these. And then I say the best bet to do these if you want like the max, because like I wouldn't think like you were worth doing unless you know what you want, what color you want. But once you get them to like, once you're level 130, these are really easy to do. And you do them to get your level 10 stone. And then once you're level, like, you should be like level 130, 140. And then after that, you just grind bear till level 200. but like, it's just like, I don't know why, unless you want, because like you could beat the final boss on story mode at like level 70. Unless you're just like want to like be OP and test out builds, I wouldn't like recommend going up to 200, because once you get the, like, you don't need the stones. You don't, well actually you do need to beat this boss, but like I said, you get the hero outfit. But you can beat him at level 70 in story mode, so then you don't really need... Once you get the hero outfit, there isn't anything unless you want to min-max with stones. Most of the stones are trash. But... I mean, I think people are actually like doing this boss on like story mode. They're usually... I think people are just changing the difficulty to like normal or story, which you could do in town, and then they're like, oh, here's the best build, and I'm gonna show you me kill the final boss on the easy one. Because I'm pretty sure I haven't really seen many people beat the final boss on very hard without like just getting shit on half the time. And with this build, I just always fall back onto it because lifesteal in any game is completely broken, and even if it's like a small percent of lifesteal, it just, like, anything you do, you get lifesteal from, and it makes the build way better. But I know, like, either A, people are gonna copy the video, or B, make kinda copy it, but be like, oh well, I use this stone instead, and this is my build. But I've already seen videos of people like using cheat engine and cheating to level 200, and that's why they don't know what they're doing. They're just like, yeah, this is the best companion, Zash, and you're like, I don't know, bro. Zash is pretty much the shittiest fucking companion. I don't know why you're using them. You could tell when people, and you could tell they cheated. And that's like every YouTube video is just like people cheat so they can get out videos right away, and they can be like, oh, I have the best build, the best video right away. I use cheat engine. I use Wii mods. I use all these cheats. I know. I never played the game. I cheated and added everything. That's how I know everything on like day one. This generation of like cheaters, I don't condone it, because it just I don't know, it defeats the purpose like of playing, because it's like, oh well, how, like, what's the point of level? And like, I think that was the whole fun of like Final Fantasy and like RPGs, is like leveling and building. I feel like if someone just gave me a game and were like, hey, you're max level, you have all the gear, here you go, I'd be like, well, what the fuck? But that's my go-to build. Hopefully it helps you out. I don't think everyone should get to 200, unless you're like a SIAO fan and you really like the lore. But good luck.